Welcome of, that's a great start. Welcome back to ulti.q. Let's pretend none of this ever happened. I'll come in again. Rewind. Welcome back to ulti.tv's coverage of Vienna Spring Break here in the Austrian capital. Benjamin Rees alongside Corey Sostre. There's the hooter to get this game underway. And our final pool game of the day comes in the open division with MUC, the Munich Ultimate Club, taking on CUSB Red Phoenix, who are disappointingly in white with MUC in all black. I like the MUC uniforms, they're nice and clean.
They are.
The Bologna one's a little bit busier. There's a bit more sponsorship on there, but, you know, I understand how the game works. You can get that sponsorship, why not?
I was about to say, yeah, it reminds me a little bit, I mean, not a little bit, but of their Bologna club, CUSB too.
Generally, so yeah.
It looks just about the same as that kit, so a kit we oddly are familiar with, and then the MCU kit, very nice, very nice.
Okay, it's MUC! Let's go, boys!
So MUC, of course, from Germany, and Red Phoenix, another team coming out of the Bologna Ultimate Powerhouse. Should be an engrossing affair.
It really should be. We're getting things kicked off. They're talking over. You even see a clipboard out there getting things ready.
The clipboard. That's how you know things are getting serious. Oh yeah, I've spotted it.
What is this? What is this concoction right there? Look like a pizza just passed by, huh?
You were eyeing that with some dangerous intent.
Always dangerous intent in the booth. Hands are raised, pulls are coming, shoes are being tied. We're about to go.
Just getting some various slaps going on the sidelines. And Red Phoenix here, pulling to MUC to begin.
And it's a good pull to make him start from the line out of bounds right there, making a force middle. And right now it looks like we have match person-to-person defense. Oh, with a little bobble.
And that was all it needed to flutter out of the hands. You can hear what a loud sideline presence the Italians are. And that's clearly causing a little bit of havoc. Taking the lower round, going inside instead. Ball under tight pressure. Fakes the inside once, twice, pivots around for the backhand, eventually finds that inside space, and that throw was clearly affected by the wind, and he put his hand up in acknowledgement because he knows that he got that wrong.
I definitely think the wind just kind of took that and said, no, not today. It was a nice decision, a nice throw. Even the inside throw to get there at that point was chef's kiss, but right there, the wind just kind of took that one for leg.
So MUC bringing the disc back in here. MUC always there and thereabouts at the thick of things in Germany. Maybe a step below. Top two on the ladder at the moment as that's snacked away by Bologna. Red Phoenix just about zings that one in there towards the end zone, and it's a break to start for Red Phoenix. They take a 1-0 lead in this contest.
And the Red Phoenix coming out fire hot on that first point, just kind of forcing tough decisions, even from the pull, making him take it from the out of bounds mark right there to make it a difficult pass to initiate the sequence, and then also the bobble, and then an unfortunate turn in the end zone, but just getting it right back and just going crystal clear and smooth.
So, certainly not the start to the game that the Germans would have been wanting.
Not at all, but that's the beautiful thing about Frisbees. You almost always have another shot. Next point.
So another chance to make amends here for the MUC O-line. We're just seeing the Red Phoenix D-line getting some getting some final instructions. You are very much enjoying the clipboard close-up, I think, there, Corey.
I really am. They must have heard this in the production crew. But it looks like after that first point, the clipboard has been working, so continue it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We take the pull deep.
Lefty backhand with a little bit of blade on it, tailing away, lands in the pitch and drifts out the side of the end zone, so it's going to be taken from that front cone.
And that's 2 amazing pulls back to back, just to have the Red Phoenix advantage right there. And again, as we stress, the entire match or the entire day, the positioning of the pull is very important. You have to have.
It's the one thing that you can guarantee will happen every point. Someone will pull and someone will receive the pull.
Precisely.
And it infuriates me that teams kind of don't practice this a little bit more. There's so much more to it than just to bang it as far as you can.
Exactly.
Or at least there should be.
And we can see too, interestingly enough, both teams are very vocal on the sidelines, getting well involved.
This is looking much better, much more fluid from MUC. They've clearly got a little bit of rhythm that they were lacking on that first point. And a little bit bumpy or bargy on the mark, perhaps. It's going to bring this to a stop. Just establishing that barrier of physicality early. Nice inside shot there. Reeled in with an outstretched right hand, creating a nice backboard for the disc to palm into. Nemo comes underneath with his crisp, easy throwing motion. Nice throw and go there. Sorry to cut you off, Corey. Nemo goes into the end zone for the goal as well.
Nice.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, even then too, what I really appreciated about that kind of end zone set is, as we talked about before, just having the cutters in enough space. They even utilize the cutters outside of the end zone, just so that way they can have a little bit more room to work, so it's not so cluttered in there. As you can see, the handlers are just really cycling well kind of within that space, and then you might have a cutter come in every once in a while, but just the handlers having a lot of space to work and then just continuing flowing off the 1-2 punch right there. And as you can see, just kind of beat the mark and get in the end zone.
They're using that throw and go to really good effect. You can see getting it one way, not there, doesn't like it. So bounces back, throw and go. You've got that instant separation. And then to catch the disc from the player who's also thrown and going. And he's got that separation to go up line. And with their defenders really laser focused on their assignments in the end zone, there's no one there playing help defense to come and really sit in that space and dissuade Nemo from making that cut. So he's free to attack that space. He's got position, he's got space, he's got time, and it's a relatively simple goal.
Exactly. It's like 2-person isolation at that point too. It's just kind of working it with your handler set.
Yeah, really, really nicely done.
And now here we get to see the team's offense and defense kind of working against each other too.
Dangerous pass into the middle of the field. Crazy bid. I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, but like just the explosiveness on that to contort his body into a position where he could almost get the disc. But I guess that's the one thing you can guarantee with these young Italian sides is they generally have athleticism.
Yes.
And they, well, that's an understatement. They have it in boatloads.
As we see a pick 2 right there.
I appreciate boat. It's probably the wrong Italian city for boatloads. That would be Venice. I
actually just took a trip to Venice 2 weeks ago. It was very nice. It's a very beautiful city.
It's on my list of places to visit, but I've never got around. Someone needs to host a big ultimate tournament there.
I'm afraid it might not be big enough, but if they ever do.
Well, to be fair, we've had the EUCFs in Caul, which is not too far from Venice, actually.
Yeah.
By the airport there. So maybe one day. Here's MUC trying to break to get it on serve. Wow, that was tight. Going down the sideline, another huge bid. Doesn't get there, and it's in the end zone. Throwing themselves around with almost reckless abandon. Doesn't come off that time, but trying to put MUC under as much pressure. But they didn't break on that occasion. Well, they did break on that occasion. They broke to take a 2-1 lead.
Precisely, and it looks like 3 bids at that point right there, too, just kind of consecutively from this young Italian squad of Bologna. It's just throwing their bodies on the line, using their athletic skills, but at that time, MUC just kind of worked their way up and made magic happen.
And it's the focus that even though you've got defenders, you know, flying in from all over the place, just being ready to, you know, lock in and focus and try and not let that distract you or flash across your eye line and make you temporarily lose sight of your object. That being, of course, the disc. So back on serve here, MUC 2, CUSB Red Phoenix 1. Nick's stolen our chips.
It says Nick's chips now, huh?
No, they're still mine. I brought them. After this, going into women's quarterfinals, and then men's quarterfinals to end, open quarterfinals to end the day.
Bracket play.
Love to see it. Don't offer them to me now. I'm on microphone. What good is that? Take your ill-gotten gains. This is the first time we're seeing, the second time we're seeing Bologna come out on offense. It's number 81's he's thrown himself around an awful lot already, and nice calm reset towards the sideline there. It's good. You've got the spice and the athleticism, but also that cool, wiser head as well. That's a beautiful lead throw. Don't think that was the intended target, but it worked all the same, and just kind of sit this one into the end zone. Lovely, lovely weight of path, and the touch that they throw with for that score to make it 2-all. Sumptuous.
And just like saying that, number 81 was just kind of facilitating the flow right there, just dictating that point, demanding the disc, making beautiful throws. Like you said, that lead throw was just a beautiful setup, so that way they can go score. A very nice response for the Red Phoenix right there.
Seeing some CUSB Cheetahs players come over to the sideline to support their club mates. I was going to say teammates, and that wasn't right. Club mates. This is one of the things that's nice when you have a club or an area that sends multiple teams to a tournament. Unless you've got that big, fierce rivalry, often it does mean that you have that extra sideline support and presence that can sway those tight games in your favour. Just give you that little extra boost.
Mm-hmm.
MUC coming back out on offense for this point. Currently on serve, Bologna broke with the first point, and then after MUC tied it up at 1 apiece, got their break back to lay 2-1, and now with Bologna putting in that last point, puts us at MUC 2, Red Phoenix 2. Ball goes deep, trying to gain some yards before that defense is set now. MUC trying to sneak round the back shoulder, set left open the backhand side there for a little bit. But the put didn't go. Into the middle, and just a simple spanner that time.
And that's about the similar area from when they turned it the first point too. Let's see if Bologna's defense can punch it in again.
A bit of an aberration there, but I don't think the Italians will mind. That nearly became a very hefty collision, but in the end it wasn't there. Now Naumov absolutely rips this deep, and he could have been Usain Bolt and he wasn't catching that.
It's a very ambitious rip, though. That was beautiful. It sailed. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that was an absolute howitzer of a throw.
It was. But even now, too, you have the, excuse me, too, Benji, but just you can set up at least in front of the end zone, too. So it's a very, very interesting and very favorable point of start for Bologna of the Red Phoenix right now.
Yeah, it's just with that throw, just needs to take a little bit off.
Yeah.
Get out of the gym, in my opinion.
Maybe on a non-windy day, it might have been a little bit more favorable.
Tight on this sideline. Not going to try and let them get the disc off into a nice position, but a good break there. Wants a little dish. It's a little bit of contact on the back, and maybe on the back of the leg as well, and that's going to be a foul call. Uncontested. Will be checked back in by the Germans. Backhand break downfield. Now with a long bomb on the money with that lefty flick. Bologna looking for another break. So far, this game's come in little runs of 2. Will we see the same here? Oh, through the centre, not quite. Knocked down, and again they're getting a runner going deep immediately. This time they think better of it. Going to send him back underneath. And he's got the disc just inside Red Phoenix's half.
And there's loads of space in front.
Squeezing it down the sideline. There's a player who's lost a hat in the middle of the pitch. And just a simple execution error there. Too many of those so far in this game from MUC. As that throw is coming down with snow on it and really well read. And the continuation is there. But a rushed throw will see it turfed. Clear frustration there, but was not a great throw.
And Benji, that disc just kind of hung up there for a while. I didn't know which direction it was going to go in. So it was nice concentration by the Red Phoenix to grab that, but just a little bit more patience right there in the red zone, just to wait for a little bit more of a touch right there. You don't have to force that throw. But here again, we see MUC kind of in that position with a bomb downfield.
And boom goes the dynamite. Hurls his arm aloft, and why the hell not? Quite rightly he does so, because that was lethal.
That was a full field bomb right there. That was, oh, look at this.
Bomb, capital B-O-M-B.
Wow.
Boom, baby.
A pitch and go right there, just yeet it downfield. It doesn't get much better than that.
I mean, good force as well, but pivots out wide, gets the throw off, and the perfect trajectory on that throw towards the back of the end zone. That is almost certainly the best throw we've seen all day, because, I mean, we've seen a few actually, to be fair, but that's got to be right up there.
I completely agree with you. That was a money throw right there.
What a shot. Not just the actual throw, but the camera work as well.
That's a cutter's dream, just kind of running, like we said before, just running into that space, having the freedom with no pressure, just playing a game of catch with your friend right there.
Yeah, he runs like the wind, and the throw is on bullseye. So, despite maybe looking at a couple of times here that they were going to give up that break, MUC get the disc back and hold firm. And now it's Red Phoenix's turn to look deep, and this is on the money as well. Well, if these two teams continue to do this all game, we're in for a real treat.
Red Phoenix said, what you can do, I can do better, and they threw one right down the field as well, too. We've got a game.
Well, believe me, we've got a game, Corey. We've got a game here. I think that requires some more intensive note-taking on the clipboard.
I think so.
I can't wait till we get close with the clipboard. It just says score.
Score.
Frisbee.
Just win.
What a throw.
What a throw, what a grab. Fully extension to the high point of the disc as well, too.
Are you suggesting that the Bologna hierarchy just goes full Al Davis? Just win, baby.
Just win. We'll see how it works for them this season, too, with Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I mean, this is my favourite. I try and sleep this in it. Back when Al Davis was suing the league, one of the other owners trained a parrot. So at the owners' meetings, it would every time he walked past, it would swear at Al Davis, and I'm like, that is so petty. I live for that. You know you've made it when someone teaches a parrot to swear at you.
What else do you expect from the NFL at that point, too? Just, man.
I was gonna say, we need to get one of those to like swear at Mike whenever he walks past. Just heckle him.
So I said, Mike apply a sunscreen today. He's getting a little red over there, yeah?
He's Australian.
And there's the clipboard again. The clipboard shot.
You got to burn to turn. That's my philosophy. MUC coming back out on offense in a game that is extremely entertaining in the opening stages. Nice tight snag there. Looks like they're going for the deep bomb. That one is just going to keep going and going and going.
And as you could probably hear too with our mics, the wind was just picking up right there as soon as he gunned that one. So it kind of carried on and fully extended.
Yeah, if the wind stays up, it'll be a bit of a task to work against. Looks like it's going to be horizontal, I think. 3 handlers back, 4 cutters spaced downfield.
You can see about this Red Phoenix defense offense. You see as well too, if they can get out of these pressures, these tight.
Oh! Both check each other. Okay, I thought that might have been a nasty collision at one point, but good to see they're both up and on their feet again. Nice little low release, around break. Now into the centre. Takes the first, goes with the second towards the sideline. Trying to muscle their way up line. Maybe cheeky a little bit of a double team, but they slide through it. Only a few yards out, and the fancy footwork. Balletic tiptoes at the front of the end zone to punch that one in. MUC lead 4-3.
You see the toe grab in the end zone, then also the spike of the disc. You don't see many celebrations in European Frisbee, at least that I've seen so far.
Not so many big spiky celebrations.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, my thing is, obviously if you spike and it's damaging the disc, I'm not in favour of that.
Yes.
But the whole, like, scoring's really good fun.
Yes.
Like, and so I do not begrudge people celebrating it, as long as you're not damaging the disc or you're not, like,
being offensive to the other team or anything
yeah,
like that.
being deliberately antagonistic.
Yes. But a nice little dance over here, though. You know, a nice shimmy. That'd be very enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm not saying that people we know in the commentary booth once managed to bribe a Russian player to do a Cossack dance after he scored.
Details on that later.
That's pretty much the story.
No?
Came through, to be fair to Beef. So that ball is going to sail way out of bounds. Players getting hydrated on the sideline.
It's a hot day out here.
Yeah, when you're in the sun, it is warm. It's kind of coming behind us now a little bit, so I'm getting the sun on my back. It's nice. Nice underneath pass, no possible bid at that one. A little bit of inside to get that into the centre of the pitch. It's a real crispness of throw, and trying to sit that one when the defender's not looking gives the cutter a chance to cut back towards the disc while the defender's still readjusting, and that'll tie us back up again at 4s. This is a good, well, that doesn't do it. This is a quality game.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes, yes.
That's all you need, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we're going back on serve. It's going to be interesting to see kind of what MUC has to say.
Yeah, just getting it up there nice and early, giving the receiver a chance to make a play. And I think this is going to be a timeout here. Makes sense, to be honest. You know, you've got timeouts to use. Thinking, okay, this is good. How can we ratchet this up a notch? How can we create a bit more pressure on defense, maybe? Or when we do get those turns, how can we punch it in if we're Red Phoenix? So I get it.
And it's a great point, too, that you say, Benji, because there's been turns in this game, there's been breaks in this game. It's just kind of allowing you to explain kind of where we can touch up on those sparks, see maybe where we can convert those breaks and kind of get that advantage, because right now it's on serve, and it's a very competitive serve game where if you miss a step or you have a miscalculation somewhere, you can pay for that.
Thanks for taking the lead there, Corey, because it allowed me to get some refreshment on board.
Of course, of course.
See here, they're both sides breaking their huddles. I can't wait for like a 5-minute highlight reel of clipboard.
The charts. What's on it? We're digging in.
Honestly, I feel like when sometimes you see inept politicians walk into 10 Downing Street with like important dossiers under their arm, and they've clearly forgotten that they need to hide what's on the dossier. So paparazzi, as they go in, the paparazzi can say, "What's this new policy you're announcing?" Every damn time, honestly.
It was actually funny too. They came out on Twitter the other day with LBJ. They figured out one of the sketches he had, and he would just doodle. And so you just see like pictures of what he doodled. It was just like little aliens and stuff, and it's like, all right.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, I know a few people who do this. Like, people think, well, what are you doodling? You're not paying attention. It's, no, I am paying attention. I just like having something to do with my hands.
Exactly.
But he might also not have been paying attention.
Only he will know.
Right? Nothing ever happened in space in the 60s. Oh. The truth is out there somewhere.
It is.
MUC coming underneath. Once more, they're really getting a lot of yards with most of these gainers. That's a low release. Might have even got a little bit of a tip on that with the shoe, but completed nonetheless. Faking the around, pivoting, going underneath instead. Towards the end zone. They easily score from this distance. Whether they will or not is partly down to how the defense plays this, and that pass is going to be collected comfortably enough, but I think there's going to be a pick slightly further downfield. There's a player sat on the ground, actually. Maybe a foul call, perhaps? He's going to come off with an injury as well. Thank you to the MUC players on the sideline telling us apparently it's an offensive foul. With the injury, they're going to get a chance to sub that player out as well. It's check back in. Going wide. Oh, this is a little bit high, but he's got that long reach and those long arms to reel it in. And just a simple pop into the end zone. Again, you can tell the intensity's there in that point, even if the scoring pass did not necessarily have it. MUC, their nose is in front once more at 5-4.
And they hold.
It's tight.
You can just feel the tension in the atmosphere. Just both these teams don't want to make that mistake to give up that break, to give that advantage right now as they continue to go serve and serve. It's just bang for bang, punch for punch.
I wonder if we've got if there's a live schedule somewhere. I'm going to do a little bit of digging, not literally, obviously, metaphorically.
Yes.
Not at the moment. On the pitch behind us, by the way, we have Prague Devils. I wonder where they're from. Versus Mosquitoes, another Austrian team, who are the other two teams in this pool, and who both of these sides will have already played today.
So we see the pool coming in. Minji, I think that's a pool you would like right there. They utilize the width of the field, get a nice bounce, and
offside, maybe? Just jumping a little bit early on the ball.
And we go again.
We go again.
And this pull more impressive than the last, and I didn't think that could happen.
Yeah, it doesn't, not the cleanest of, not quite receptions, but fielding certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Going out wide, MUC trying to get this short field turnover. You can see that maybe they sense it, and there it comes, throwing through that crowded lane. Hand gets in there to knock it away. Dumped off.
As we mentioned before, too, you can just kind of see the thing that infatuates me about this MUC kind of offense is just the spacing. It's really meticulous. It's very nice. They have space to kind of conduct, and that is very important if you want to get the plays off, if you want to have kind of set plays, or just even kind of get the disc moving. And as you saw right there, that was just a beautiful upline cut, so that way they could get the score, and even then no other defender was poaching or anything like that, just because they're so worried about their own.
Again, it's that give go up the line again, and I thought there that actually they were going to take advantage of the fact that defenders stumbled a little bit that time. They overcommit towards the undercut. The defender's got their back to the disc, and as soon as you see that, as soon as you see the defender's back to the disc as a thrower, you're in go mode basically, because you know you can just sit it out there into space. By the time the defender's going to see it, it's already gone beyond them. And the question is then really is just, do you put too much on it to allow someone else to close in? There was no one there, and textbook clinical end zone offense there from the Munich Ultimate Club for another break, their second of the game, to take them up 6-4. You feel like whatever the final scoreline is here, it's not going to be a huge margin either way.
I don't think so.
Not on the basis of this first half. But I've been proved wrong before, and I will be proved wrong again.
Maybe not today, but let's see how the Red Phoenix can respond with the mishap last time. Not a clean reception as well either, but they do get it back into play.
Gets the under tight pressure. Continues to cut up line, thinks about the big shot. It's going to go, it's going to float, it's tailing towards that break side. Tries to climb the ladder, and at the second attempt, reels it in. Nice snag there to make it 6-5. Picked the receiver well, had a matchup they liked, got up there nice and early, didn't get there, but still had the position to be able to snaffle it in at the second attempt.
And Benji, that was an example where the hat thrown actually did work. It gained him a little bit more speed, but if you can see kind of in this replay too, the wind up, the build, the let, the release, and then also too, the positioning by both players was phenomenal. You can see the defender at MUC just trying to get that position, but the offender from Bologna, Red Phoenix, was just like, nope, I have the space, it's mine.
It goes up so early that it really prevents the defender from getting a good chance at it. And you can see this shape, it's always going to tail slightly towards that side, but by going up early, he's put himself in a position where it's so difficult for the defender to come round, and even though he doesn't get it, maybe slightly overjudges how his wingspan perhaps, he is able to reel it in there on the sloppy seconds.
And a much-needed recovery point for Bologna Red Phoenix right there. They just needed to kind of get their motion back set so that way they can have their defense to get another break to even things out back on serve.
Yeah, it's all very well needing breaks, but unless you score an offense, you can't get them.
Yeah.
Taking towards the sideline, it lands in as well. I think they're expecting it maybe to land out, but it just held up a little bit. MUC adjust well, get bodies back into position. There's a layout there, and maybe with the defender off balance, they can take advantage. Not quite. MUC trying to sneak it up the sideline again, maybe a slight overcommit, but there's no space to utilize the backhand lane that was left. Now they're going across towards the far side of the pitch. Amar looks a little bit rappy for my taste, but gets through it nonetheless.
Yeah.
They're just putting a little bit of a hand in there, seeing if they can dissuade any throw from going, or if it does go, get a little piece of it.
And it looks like we have a foul call in the field too. Uncontested. And I do like this, I have to say, I do like the physicality of this game as well too. It's a more physical game, but it's not too much physicality where it kind of takes away and make players angry or anything like that. It's a nice physicality where it lets you know I'm here. It lets you know the game is not always a non-contact sport, but that way it's also not too much impeding into people's, kind of teetering that line, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, there are some teams that are happy to play and enjoy playing with a little bit of contact, but always with the way the rules are written, it's kind of generally the team that wants less contact that defines how much that happens, because
Precisely.
under the rules, this is of course a non-contact sport, as that layout comes to nothing with it just bouncing out of hands. So here is Red Phoenix's chance to bring it level at 6s.
And a great opportunity for the Red Phoenix too to catch up on that break that they missed beforehand. And it looks like, interesting enough, there was a foul call.
It looks like it's going back. You are watching Ulti.tv's coverage of Vienna Spring Break. Very big apologies for some technical problems that we were having here. at the field with a little bit of connectivity, but we have been recording the game, so we should be able to get the full game up for you on demand to later take. As that is turned over, Benjamin Rees alongside Corey Sostre in the commentary with MUC looking to try and punch this in on offense, and despite the bid, the catch is going to stick, and that'll be 7-5. There's clearly some frustrated remonstrating there amongst the Red Phoenix players.
It was, even with that frustration though, that was still a solid D point by the Red Phoenix on that one. But even then, the MUC, just to kind of get everything going, let the flow happen, pick up the disc, just be chilly with it, let things happen. And look at that smooth up line right there.
It's so much fun when you jam it. Playing chili's really boring.
It is.
But
Don't get me wrong.
Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that time, it seemed to work.
If we could just shoot it every game for every point, you know I'm down for that. And here lined up too, MUC has an opportunity to break for half.
They do indeed. Were broken on the first point of this game. They then leveled and broke Red Phoenix at the first opportunity, and since then they've been trading up. The break a couple of points ago has really spun the game in their favour now. This pool is deep. Fielded right at the back of the end zone. It must have gone out of bounds, so it's being brought to the front. Fakes the first, goes second. There's a nice underneath pass there. Little dish off to the handler running through. They're going to poach this option on the near side, and that's where the disc goes. Now working it towards the far side of the pitch. MUC again trying to really stymie the rhythm and flow that Italian offenses generally thrive upon. Beautiful low release, just sending that onto space. Where the receiver's waiting. Long arms there needed to be to snatch that away from the MUC defender. The young Bolognese. Can't connect on the reset. This is Munich's chance to break for half.
And what pressure from that Munich defense as well too, just kind of making these throws, having to challenge the unders, making it a hard tap. And it looks like they're calling a timeout as well right now too.
Yeah, it makes sense, know how important this break could be in the grand scheme of the game, so making sure you try and make the most of it.
Exactly.
Although we have seen the curse of the turnout on multiple occasions in this tournament.
We have.
I much prefer the term turnout to time over, because time over just implies that you've got no time left.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite convey the dismay and devastation the same way that a turnout does.
It'll be interesting to see too. I mean, I think it's still going to be person-to-person match defense, and then also probably just a
you'd
vertical
imagine
stack.
so. That's kind of been their playbook so far, the Italians.
Exactly, their bread and butter, just kind of going from there, using their athleticism to their advantage, and seeing if MUC can match it and score this break on them.
Yeah, so coming out the timeout, MUC will get the chance to set up their offense, and then the Italians will adjust their defense based on how that's set up. Then we'll be checked in. This is the 6th of 8 games so far today. Coming up after this, we've got a women's quarterfinal in the next game slot before an open quarterfinal. We'll end our day's coverage.
2 great bracket plays.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm hyped. Sun's out, festivities flowing. What's not to love? And so it's going to be a vertical set coming out of this timeout for MUC. We'll see if because do anything a little bit different defensively.
And Benji, I wouldn't be surprised here to see if maybe they had a play set up kind of maybe like we saw in the other game where the 1 and the 2 kind of split out and then have the 3 for the easy under, or even just to see maybe the 5 under and the 4 deep.
So we'll see. Checked in. Nice break around, high throw, reeled in expertly. MUC have done the tricky bit and they've got the disc moving. It stagnates a little bit. Hand block, but you've got to catch your Ds. And unfortunately for MUC, they can't capitalize on it.
The Frisbee powers that be gave the D anyway, so.
Turnout strikes again. Big wind up, but the deep shot never comes. Instead, it's thrown underneath.
And now the Red Phoenix with an opportunity to redeem themselves with a high throw.
Well reeled in under a little bit of contact. Both players up, a little apology there as well. Good to see. Sportsmanship showing through. And punched in for the slightly underwhelmingly celebrated goal. I think because they know that they still have more work to do. But it's going to count all the same. MUC 7, Red Phoenix 6.
And what resilience from the Red Phoenix right there to get down to their end zone, play tough defense right there to turn the D, and then also to capitalize on that mistake so that way they don't go down by even more at the half. And so now we can see MUC kind of coming back on offense. See if they can end it on half, or maybe Red Phoenix can get that break.
So, if MUC hold here, takes us into half-time. Were Red Phoenix to break, it would take us to 7-all, Galaxy point.
Either way, very important point to see.
Every point's important when the teams seem to be this evenly matched. Someone's being called on with some water. Don't know if he's actually going to get to play or whether it's just the hydration that's needed. Must be getting cold apparently because Mike's put a shirt on.
Just as I took my jacket off.
Yeah, I know, it's because we're now getting the sun, but he's, I guess, maybe a little bit shady from the pole cam, I don't know. So, messages received, notes taken. Red Phoenix pull. Deep pull as well, but it's going to drift and sail out of this sideline. Looks like Fabulous, the women's team at the Flying Angels of Bern, have taken up residence on the sideline to our left, so I wonder if they're going to be in the next game. Fake the backhand. Going underneath. Wow, was very casual with that, despite the fact there was a player creeping over his shoulder. MUC now underneath. Turning, isolating the reset. Managed to get that dump off. There's going to be a quick stoppage here while they remove the disc from the other field from play.
MUC just running up the field right now, just kind of doing what they're sticking with, they're similar with, you know, just moving the disc kind of easily within that handler set, getting into the end zone.
I like the fact that they activate these dumps nice and early. Bid comes in right on the end zone line, not in just yet. Mark takes a big old munch out of that one, but the disc did not go.
You can see these Red Phoenix players just putting their bodies on the line right here to get this point, to get this stop.
Fakes the up line, goes for it at the second attempt, tries to take advantage of the face mark to sneak it into the back cone. Goal signaled as well there. Good spirit from Red Phoenix, and MUC will take an 8-6 lead into the second half of this game, Corey. What a game as well.
What a game it is. And that's kind of my biggest thing right now too, is just to see if the Red Phoenix has anything to say about this MUC kind of red zone handler set. Maybe they need to bring somebody to poach or anything along those lines, but we do know these handlers have any throw in their type of arsenal. So even if you bring a person to poach, you can have a hammer or a scooper over top. So you just want to kind of be cognizant of that as well, too, and respect the person-to-person match defense.
And on that first iteration of that line, it stopped because I didn't think it was going to go. But the defender stopped as well, back turned, and that's all the signal that players like these need.
Exactly.
As continuation happens, reactivates the cut, throw goes out into space, and at that point the defender has no shot if it's thrown properly, which it was, and that'll give Munich an 8-6 halftime lead. We're going to switch ends to reverse the way we were at the start of the first half, but it will mean that the Italians are receiving to begin the second half of this game. Just trying to get a little bit of a leg stretch going on, activate my muscles. It's not good being sat behind a desk all day.
If this is the computer screen I'm looking at, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, like this is a normal desk job.
I think normal desk jobs, they make you require shoes, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm wearing my shoes.
I'm wearing my shoes as well.
See, proper desk job. We're just hot desking. So here's the ball to begin the second half, with Red Phoenix starting on offense, down 8-6. Here's a way to open this second half with an absolutely money deep bomb. Wow. What a way to begin the second period.
And that's just what the Red Phoenix needed right there, just to kind of get their offense facilitated, get everybody pumped up to start the half, just kind of get back their head in the game and use that motivation on defense now to see if they can cause a break.
A real energizer there, you'd think, for the young Italians.
Just look at that, put on a platter.
It's not bad. Not bad at all. So, still a couple of breaks needed for Red Phoenix.
The pressure's on for both of them, yeah. It's if the Red Phoenix can get that break and continue that break, they can take the lead, and it's on MUC to kind of continue what they're doing. Don't let the advantage kind of get to them. Just play as you play. Take 1 point at a time. Win your matchups. Make consistent throws. Just do what you know.
Any more coaching cliches you want to throw in there, boss?
The score's fun to fun, maybe?
Oh, that's a good one. Even if you lose the point, don't lose the lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Hello. Here's a zone coming out from the Italians. Well, it looks like they're opening their box of tricks and seeing what they can throw at their German opponents here. Keep their opposition guessing, throw them out of their comfort zone a little bit slightly.
Yeah.
Don't mind it at all. Low throw. It's going to get the turn as well, right on the end zone line. Instantly turned in, and you can see that the Italians are pumped. We're level now at 8 apiece. Well, I think that zone really maybe did catch them napping a little bit there.
It did, and that's just kind of what they needed as well. Come off the half with a nice deep look, and then also a zone to get the easy turn on the end zone. That was beautiful. Even the tent feel, the intensity of that spike right there.
Intensity?
Yeah.
Was that the pun you were doing?
No, that was not a pun at all. No, there you go.
No, I like it.
And so now we're back on serve. See if this MUC offense can get that point back.
Well, there's one of the 2 breaks that they needed to swing this game in their favour. The question now is, you've got that zone, it worked, it got you a tone. Do you stick with it, or do you maybe leave it in the locker for a little bit?
That is a great question indeed, and we'll see that answer soon.
Also, a lot of the MUC players are wearing MUC socks, which is a fashion commitment I respect.
See if we can get a pair of those.
They look like decent quality socks as well. It's a fun game.
That's what I'm saying. You need them in Frisbee.
I've become a real sock snob, so I get it.
A snox.
Snox, yeah.
And here we see the Red Phoenix asking for the zone again.
And it works. Pen them in the pen them in their end zone. Try to hammer it over the top, but the angle there is taking it always out of play. I would say should be a thumber that direction to bring it back in bounds. Not that I never expect anyone to throw it. And now here's an opportunity for Red Phoenix to take the lead for the first time since the very first point.
We can really feel the wind picking up right here too.
Lovely little small ball there to get themselves close to the end zone. Again, they're keeping the stall count low, getting the distance moving quickly. Now they've been able to stagnate a little bit, but they find a little window into the end zone, and it's dropped. Agonizing, because it feels like they did all the hard work, and this hammer is going to be towed in. Maybe that it's becoming a little bit dicey for Munich, but as long as they complete it, I'm not sure how much they mind. Finds a nice little lane there to thread that throw through. So TH is there. Again, they're really leaving this side of the field open. They're baiting them to throw those cross-pitch hammers or blades or whatever. There's a collision there, but I think it might just be a turn. There's a discussion, and turnover's going to stand, I think.
What about this zone? It is working in full effect right now.
Yeah, you almost wonder, why do they wait so long to bring it out? Maybe they were just a little bit of half-time discussion to find the right time to use it. Or, you know, back themselves, is this the game we think where we break it out?
Yeah.
Here's going to be a little pick. Just a little pick.
Just a little bit.
Just a little pick. There's the disc central. Oh, tried to that cheeky inside backhand, but the cutter was long gone by that point. And MUC with the enormous rip, getting that inside out shape on it, and it's ripped out of the sky by Red Phoenix. Rising high there, the Italians. Nice reflexes there to make the snag. It's gone deep. This is going to take some tracking towards the back of the end zone. If this is in, it's a hell of a grab. I mean, it's a hell of a grab regardless of whether it was in or not. I think they're saying that it was out.
A valiant effort indeed, but
it must have been close either way. Apparently there was they asked the sideline, and the sideline suggested that he was out the back.
Good spirit, good spirit.
Yeah, good to accept them at this word, because especially after accept them at their word, because especially after a catch like that, he could have very, very easily said no. But that was weird.
Looked like it might have been a strip.
Yeah, or just maybe a bump on the mark there, which I guess would be a strip because he had it in control. Faking the overhead. Not sure that the defense really bought that he was going to throw it though. And if they're not buying it, how useful of a fake is it?
Yeah.
Thought about the long one across pitch, but puts it back in the locker for now. Maybe not quite the right time to unleash that option. Here we go, they're attacking with a little bit of pace now. Sitting this throw out, this is going to have to require an adjustment, but it just about got there. They've made it beyond halfway now. Nice round break there. Continuation, front of the end zone. Still not in just yet. Haven't found the appropriate time to transition as yet. Can MUC take advantage? Can they find a free player?
And as we mentioned too before, it's just even with that score, it still made it a little bit more complex because it had to take their handlers out a little bit more, ask a little bit more questions. But over there, overall, I think the Red Phoenix kind of cup zone right there asked a few questions out of MUC. They had to readjust, kind of do some other things. They tried to test some different things. They tried to throw it deep. The deep look didn't work. They tried to throw some hammers over top. It didn't work. Just kind of dribbling it this time and just playing patient and kind of having some close calls right there made it, all right, a point, excuse me.
So Red Phoenix have still not been able to recapture that lead that they gained on the very first point. MUC just about keeping their noses in front. 9-8 the current score, but that zone that they've brought out in this second half has really changed the nature of the contest a little bit, I think, Corey.
Yeah, I think so too. It's asking some questions out of this MUC offense, maybe just a different look, and like you said, just another trick out the bag.
Hey, variety is the spice of life and all that.
It is.
That and allspice, because it's all spices. I mean, obviously, come on now. It's basically cheating.
Yeah.
But I guess variety is one of those.
See Felix getting some protection from the sun. So get ready for the game.
Factor 69, probably. He's I say he's quite pale. He was out in Colombia a couple of weeks ago for TEP, so yeah, he is probably significantly less pasty than I.
We see here MUC also bringing out their own cup edition as well.
I like it. Just changing the nature of the contest. It's gone away from being kind of a physical, scrappy affair to a little bit more of tactical nuance involved. It's interesting, it's nice. It's taken maybe a little bit of time for the Bologna downfield players to adapt, but they've been able to work it through their handler set pretty effectively up until that point. But it's pinned in really tightly on the sideline here. There's going to be a travel there. Resets, gets the high release off. Oh, this is going to flow. Should be pilfered away. Is it? Oh, well, no one got there in the end, and that's just fine for the Germans.
And as you can see right there too, Benji, it just looks like these zones are just producing some results as well too. I mean, person-to-person match defense was working well as well, but this one just seems like it's getting a turn for both teams as they're dealing with this wind.
Nice upline shot there. Continuation goes back into the center of the pitch. Good communication as one Munich player leaves it for another. Lovely inside shot onto the nose of the end zone. Thought about the high release. Yes, no! Jams it in there. Gets the force to bite. And there's a little bit of discussion, but the score's going to stand. MUC reopen that 2-point gap that they relinquished at the start of this half. It's MUC 10, Red Phoenix 8.
And as you can see right there too from the Red Phoenix offense, just kind of implementing, again, nice chilly offense, but just having that unfortunate kind of float, I should say, when they were trying to swing the disc. And that MUC defense implementing the zone cup right there so that way they can get that turn and then just work it up the field for the score. It's a nice break right there to get that 2-lead gap.
So roughly about 10 minutes left in this contest with MUC up 10-8. Tell you what, it's a shame that this game's probably not going to go all the way to 15.
Yeah.
Barring something miraculous.
Oh, and look at the wind on that pole.
MUC zoning again. And he got the turns with it last point, so why not stick with it? No team's ever been more than 2 points ahead. Never really been more than one break in it either way. First, Red Phoenix were a break up. Munich got it back, then Munich were a break up. All the way up into the second half. When Red Phoenix got that break back, and now MUC have put themselves a break back up once more.
So we see some dribbling now too.
Yeah, on the run. Outside the end zone. Oh, what a layout! They did so brilliantly all the way up to the pitch, and they thought there was a window there, maybe a little bit unsighted through the traffic, as the defender with a heroic layout to rescue possession there for the Munich Ultimate Club.
That was just an amazing layout right there too. You could see the determination in his eyes to get there first. Oh my goodness, just came out of nowhere.
And here's MUC, they're looking big. This might invite a defender, and actually really good job getting up there nice and early to knock it away so they can't make it count.
Now we see the Red Phoenix offense trying to get that point back, trying to get the ship right.
They looked so good when they were on the move, just moving it so quickly that the Germans couldn't really stop it. But in the end zone, maybe they stagnated ever so slightly and they were punished. This throw is off target. So a slightly more easier gained turn that time for Munich. This one floats up, nicely snagged in with the left hand. Not far outside the end zone for Munich now, with a chance to go 2 breaks up. This will float a little bit, but reeled in easily enough. And the score is now MUC 11, Red Phoenix 10, with so little time left in this game. You wonder if now it's a case of they've left the Italians with too much to do.
And the breaks come in too, with a little bit less than 10 minutes left to go in the game, up by 3.
Yeah, still trying to work out who the game's going to be on this pitch next up. We'll find out for you. A, S, A, and P. But in the meantime, what a game we've got here. MUC 11, CUSB Red Phoenix 8. Here on LTV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break, live from Austria. Benjamin Rees alongside Corey Sostre in the commentary booth. And if you are enjoying our coverage, a reminder you can watch all of the games this weekend live and on demand for free on our YouTube channel. But on the other hand, if you feel that this is that making Ultimate as free and as accessible as possible is an endeavour that you would like to support, then a reminder that you can make your way over to our Patreon page. You can find more info on our website, which is, unsurprisingly, ulti.tv. Join the Patreon there and become a patron, and for as little as a few euros a month, you can continue to help us do this as many and as broad a wider range of events as possible, and doing more pitches at those events, you know, with a kind of a better quality of equipment, more crew available. And thank you to everyone who has done so previously and already this weekend, like, for example, our newest patron, Andreas Schoenebeck.
That's what you love to see right there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your support.
It is massively appreciated. A little bit goes a long way. It means Mike can afford a shirt. He just chooses not to wear it because he's Australian. But this is kind of your first time really kind of working with us for a full weekend, and I imagine for a new person coming in, kind of the scope of all the kit is can be a little bit overwhelming.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, it's just, you know, I come in with a little bit of knowledge about Ultimate in general, and just seeing what actually goes down behind the production scenes, just what goes into the commentary and everything along those lines, just to make the streaming possible. It's overwhelming, but it's really fun. It's really fascinating. I mean, it's a process I think everybody should see, just to see how much it really takes to go in and provide you free streaming Ultimate with great competitors and great games.
Like this one we've got here at Vienna Spring Break with MUC 11-8 up on Red Phoenix. Well, nearly make that 11-9, but they're not quite in the end zone just yet, and I think everyone stopped because they were expecting it to be just a little dish reset there. Done backwards, there's a pick in the end zone. That's going to stymie things slightly. The Italians will retain possession. Disc check back in. Options moving this way and that. Thinks about the little up line, doesn't like it in the end. Other options, trying to blade it over the top through a crowd of coverage. Maybe a bit of contact. A player's gone down. Felt like relatively heavily. trying to clamber his way to his feet. Was maybe not the most well-advised of options. Some MUC players getting a little look at the replay on our screen, and the turnover is going to stand here to give MUC a chance to really create some breathing space and some separation between themselves and their opponents.
And as you can also see here too, just the Red Phoenix offense just looks like it's getting a little bit tired. I mean, again, it's a nice hot day out here in Vienna. They've been working hard, both teams have, and just seeing now that they're coming on for the second break. If the MUC can push it in. And look at this cross-field huck, but it doesn't return in.
No. We had one of those earlier on the third point of the game, I think, an absolute exocet from end zone to end zone. Tried to repeat the trick that time, but really difficult throw to pull off. And as you saw there, just didn't get it right.
And now we have to determine where it went out at.
I think they're going to put it out with just about level with this yellow cone. Check back in. And immediately broken into the center of the pitch. Trying to get it on the run with those throw and goes just outside the end zone. Simon taking a slightly more patient approach. On the end zone line again, and he's wide open to reduce the deficit to just 2. 11-9 the current score now.
That was just amazing. It just seemed back to back to back. Pass, 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 easy end zone.
From a Munich perspective, not great, but from a Red Phoenix perspective, it's exactly what you wanted to see. Every now and again I'll look over and there's another aeroplane that's just going into the airport that's very close by.
Wonder where that one's coming from.
It's the same colour as the flight we took, but it's of a budget Hungarian airline, which we will not name because they do not sponsor us.
We have about under 5 minutes left in the game.
It's tight. It's tight. And this is, it's a really good test to come to a tournament this early in the season and play a game this close against a team that, you imagine that potentially over the course of the season, you might meet a few more times in, more close games.
Exactly, and even if it's not the same exact team, it's a team of the same caliber. And just, like you said, asking some questions and testing yourself early on.
Fakes the flick, now they're going towards this sideline.
And they're bringing out the zone again, too.
Hey, it was getting you turns. Why not?
Exactly.
Because that's what the Italians need, and they need them relatively sharpish.
Still no horn yet, though, so let's...
At the very least, I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Zipping that one in there downfield. MUC have broken through the front line of that defense. Can they keep the disc moving before it sets back again? It looks like they're actually going to transition here into going into match defense. One-on-one they match up now. Oh, floats, and I thought there was maybe a bit of a flailing leg in there. Slightly unorthodox bids, which I'll say. No foul on the cut. Immaculately by the Italians.
And I think that was the same player that bid at the end of the end zone earlier too, and then that one was called out from the sidelines. But that was an immaculate bid right there. Wow.
Yep. We will absolutely delight in showing you that on the replay. Full extension, and it needed to be. But on the swing, it's caught at the second attempt. And that is a play that, shows a little bit of wisdom and experience, because they've called the timeout.
Exactly. Just looking at that layout D again, oh my goodness. Full extension, got the hand in there. Oh.
Absurd. Frankly.
Yes.
A little bit absurd.
But just in a game like this, I expect nothing less. I mean, they've both given as much as they can just to get the points, the win. It's been a phenomenal game so far.
So from the players who are making their way over to our sideline, I'm assuming that the next game we've got in the women's semi-final is going to be Fabulous versus Mainzelmädchen. Yeah, we have already seen the Germans today. Part of a good fight, but came up just short in their game against... Isn't it terrible that I've forgotten already? No, Troubles.
Not at all. At this point, it's just, we're going. About to be 6 games of the day.
Yeah.
If we had a 9 to 5, 5 o'clock, we'd be over by now. But hey, we're working overtime for you guys.
This is the thing. Every time when I was still living and working in London, at my old job, I'd go back into the office after a tournament week or weekend, and people would go, "How was your holiday?" And I'd always have to say, "Not a holiday." I work longer hours than I do here. Not a holiday. But it is the best job in the world.
It is. It's my first day on the job, and I love it so far.
I'm glad. One of us.
And it just looks like the timeout's coming to a conclusion right now, getting the setup for the Red Phoenix players.
Nick's found some sunscreen that I don't need because I'm wearing a jumper and jeans, but thank you for the offer. Going to be a horizontal setup.
And this might be the first of the game we've seen too, right?
And they're poaching it. And in fact, they're not just poaching it, they're coming out relatively zonally. And now they're melting pretty quickly into a match. Red Phoenix adapt well. A couple of players coming into the same space. One pulls out of that cut slightly and then clears through. Towards this sideline. And there's a stoppage. Just waiting now for this to be checked back in. Looks at the break for a long time, doesn't get it. Eventually tries to sneak the inside through, not much room, and there's going to be a call.
Uncontested as well, too. Oh, and the disc floated just a little bit too much for the turn.
Yeah, you can see the intensity in this game written across all the faces of the players on the pitch and on the sideline.
Because not only are points becoming a factor too, but the time is becoming a big factor as well.
Yeah, we've hit 70 minutes now. We're over that. Trying to marshal players into the backfield. Still real crispness and quality about all these throws. Faking a scooper instead, just a little push pop. MUC don't look flustered at all.
No?
They've been in these situations before. So have their opponents, but just maybe not quite to the same degree. Not with the same frequency over the same period of time. Into the end zone. Again, another big, heavy contact. Players down in a heap.
We just hope both players are all right as well.
Yeah. Yeah, did like maybe he just tried, I'm not sure whether he tried to pull out of it here. and just couldn't quite do so, and they both, knocked each other pretty heavily.
He seems to be getting up. It's a good sign.
Yeah, gingerly, but he's making his way off the field solidly enough, which is good. He'll of course get an injury replacement from the sideline.
Glad to see both players are okay.
That is always the most important thing.
And as play resumes too, we're seeing back on the end zone line as well.
Check back in, as you mentioned, right on the end zone line. The little break will put them up 12-9 in, I believe, game to 13. I'm just hearing the players confirming that. So we might be a little bit delayed in getting the next game started. Our big water container disappeared at some point and has not made its return.
It is not. That's not ours.
It'll be somewhere.
We hope.
Yeah, just getting confirmation that it will be the women's quarterfinal between Fabulous and Mention up next on this screen.
As we see here, we're getting ready for the pull.
Yeah, you can tell there's a real deliberation in both sides about what line they want to have out, how do they want to approach it, all of that sort of thing. And I think that's bounced just about in bounds, because I haven't seen him signal for the brick.
I think so too. That was a beautiful pull if it bounced in. Even if it didn't, it was a beautiful pull.
They're going to bring it to the front. And it's checked in. Really putting pressure on the resets. It's floating towards the back corner.
As you always see with those high floating ones too, you're just always like, there might be a chance for Callie right there, Callahan.
And the wind pushed it a little bit too far, but MUC will scarcely get a better chance to end this game. On the end zone line. Got a player isolated in space, makes the cut to the front of the end zone, and that will do it. Brilliant game between two relatively evenly matched sides, back and forth throughout, and in the end, MUC had that little bit extra to take home a narrow victory. We're going to wrap things up quickly now to get things ready for the women's quarterfinals. So your final score here at Vienna Spring Break is MUC 13, CUSB Red Phoenix 9, and we will see you on the other side.